My sister-in-law, Stella, divorced and brought her 3 sons back to my in-laws' house. While I was away on a business trip, she took over my daughter Yuan Yuan's room. Her son pushed Yuan Yuan down the stairs while fighting over a toy. By the time I returned from my business trip, my daughter had already been cremated by them. Stella said, "Sister-in-law, she was just a useless girl. Her death is no great loss. I can teach you how to bear a son, perfect for my brother." My husband, Alex, told me to be more generous. My in-laws also sided with Stella. I said nothing. I poured the entire bottle of pesticide into their food. Only after I saw them draw their last breath did I close my eyes. When I reawakened, Stella was putting on a pitiful act, asking for shelter. I slapped my husband, Alex, across the face. "Useless, you can't even stand up for your own sister when she's bullied. What kind of man are you? Don't you have a knife? Don't you know how to strike? Anya, are you insane? She was just a useless girl and you want to drag all of us down with her." My husband glared at me, his eyes filled with hatred. I laughed, a laugh that turned into a cough, spitting blood. Hatred is exactly what you should feel. If you all died peacefully, my eyes would never rest. She wasn't useless, she was my daughter. This entire family will be buried with her. My daughter was only 6 years old when this family killed her. They deserve to die, and so do I for being unable to protect my own child. Alex crawled towards me, hitting me hard with a porcelain bowl. "Anya, if anyone's going to die, it should be you first." Had I known, I would have let you and your useless daughter die together when she was born. That was my good husband. I swayed, dodging his attack, then pulled a fruit knife from my pocket and plunged it into him. The poison I put in the food, of course, affected me the least. Alex couldn't fight me. When they all stopped breathing, I closed my eyes again. "Mommy's here with you now, Yuan Yuan. I won't ever leave you again." When I woke up once more, Stella, divorced, was bringing her 3 sons back to my in-laws' house. She was putting on a pitiful act, claiming her husband abused her, and she couldn't continue the marriage, which led to the divorce. She said she agreed to leave with nothing for the sake of her children, wanting to keep them with her. In reality, her husband caught her cheating in a hotel and forced her to leave empty-handed, not even wanting the 3 children. Of course, her husband, Kevin, wasn't a good person either. He already had illegitimate children and deliberately staged the scene to force her out. They truly deserved each other. It was a pity they didn't die. My mother-in-law was heartbroken. My father-in-law was about to call people to fight, but Stella started crying again. "Mom, we can't win. They're united and aggressive. What if you and Dad get hurt?" My mother-in-law grew even more distressed, crying along with Stella, continuously cursing Stella's ex-husband. This time, I wanted to make a huge scene so everyone would know exactly what kind of person Stella was. If anyone got hurt, even better. I suddenly snapped to attention, slapping my husband, Alex, across the face. "Useless, you can't even stand up for your own sister when she's bullied. What kind of man are you? Don't you have a knife? Don't you know how to strike?" Everyone stared at me. Stella even stopped her fake crying, her face frozen. Alex's face turned beet red. I slapped him again. "Don't make me look down on you. You can't even protect your sister's happiness. What do I need you for?" My mother-in-law rushed over, stopping me from hitting him again. "Why are you hitting him? What right do you have to hit him? Do you believe I'll beat you to death?" I wasn't afraid, my cold gaze sweeping over them. "You only know how to bully family members. Stella has endured so much injustice, yet no one goes to fight for her. Instead, you turn around and bully me." My mother-in-law glared at me, then pulled Alex to sit beside Stella. What a shame, only 2 slaps. I sent a message to my own mother, telling her to pick up my daughter, Yuan Yuan, from kindergarten. I'd come later. Seeing her reply, "Okay," I breathed a sigh of relief and my put phone in my pocket. I smiled and walked closer to them. Stella was still crying and her 3 sons were crying along. Thanks to my instigation, my in-laws and Alex were united, preparing to go talk to Stella's ex-husband. Stella looked at me pitifully and said, "Mom, he's still the father of my children. I can't let him go to jail. My children still have to take civil service exams later." I clasped Stella's hand tightly. "Sister-in-law, we're just going to demand justice. You are a member of the Wang family. No one can bully you. You didn't do anything wrong, so why should you leave empty-handed? As for the money to raise 3 children, not a single penny should be missing." My in-laws nodded repeatedly. Even Alex agreed with me. Stella looked worried again. "Sister-in-law, I'm already bothering you by staying here. If anyone gets hurt because of me, I'll feel so guilty." Stella truly had no heart. Yuan Yuan was killed by them, yet she felt no guilt. On the contrary, she was gloating. I hit her hand hard. "Sister, saying things like that? We are family. If we don't stand up and demand justice for you, how can we face the world? Stella winced in pain, trying to pull her hand back, but I held on tighter, hitting her even harder. Alex caressed Stella's head, saying gently, "Don't worry, little sister, I will definitely help you. No matter what you've done, I'll always stand by you." What a devoted brother and sister. My daughter, Yuan Yuan, was gone, and at that time, he also stood firmly by his sister's side, unwavering. They really shouldn't have involved others in their schemes. Perhaps incest would have been less destructive. Stella seemed to waver, so I quickly seized the opportunity to say, "Sister, calculate how much property you'd get. The child support for 3 children, if we force him to pay it all at once, it won't be a small amount." I poked her forehead hard, my face full of dissatisfaction. "Sister, at this point, what money are you still clinging to?" Stella's eyes became resolute. "Who doesn't want money, after all?" My in-laws started calling people to help. I secretly put the fruit knife and pepper spray into my jacket pocket. This fight was definitely going to happen. Soon after, over 20 people gathered downstairs. We took 6 cars to Stella's ex-husband's house. The 3 children also came along. Alex drove, my father-in-law in the passenger seat. I held Stella's hand, patting and comforting her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at me. "Sister-in-law, you're so good to me." I smiled kindly. "Because you're my sister-in-law, who else would I be good to? My dear sister, your good days are still ahead." Stella's eyes curved like crescent moons. I looked up at my husband. "Honey, you need to be strong later. Others might be scared, but you can't be. Don't let us look down on you." Alex looked at his sister, then nodded forcefully. I was quite satisfied. More than an hour later, we arrived. Stella was about to knock. I looked at my husband, Alex, who led the group to kick the door. After a few kicks, the door opened, revealing Stella's ex-husband, Kevin. He looked at the crowd outside, then glared at Stella. "What are you doing? Do you want me to tell them all the reasons for our divorce?" Stella seemed to remember something unpleasant and took a step back. I stopped her from retreating. "Do you think the Wang family is all dead? How dare you bully my sister-in-law, forcing her to leave empty-handed with 3 children? Do you think the Wang family is easy to bully?" My mother-in-law nodded repeatedly. "That's right. If you don't give us an explanation today, we'll smash your house to pieces." The 3 children cried terribly. "Dad, we want to go to school, please help us." The crowd behind also shouted, their momentum overwhelming, and Stella stood even straighter. I glanced at Alex. He held a stick in his hand, showing no fear. "Kevin, today you have to give my sister-in-law 800,000 yuan or we won't let this go." Stella's ex-husband's face darkened, and he gritted his teeth. "You tell them, why did I hit you? Do you want me to show them the pictures?" Stella's face immediately turned red. Turns out she still had some shame. She grabbed my hand, her eyes full of tears. I gave her a reassuring look, then yelled at Kevin, "You just admitted to hitting her in front of everyone. Photos can be photoshopped, we don't believe you. Now you have to compensate her 1 million or I'll sue you for abuse." Kevin was so angry he laughed. "Stella, do you want to die?" Stella recoiled, and I immediately added fuel to the fire. "How dare you threaten my sister-in-law in front of so many people? Ask if the entire Wang family will let this go." My in-laws pushed forward, cursing incessantly with harsh words. Kevin's face grew darker and darker. "You all just wait, this isn't over yet." With that, he started calling people. Stella began to get scared again, trying to run, but she was completely surrounded. I patted her shoulder firmly. "Don't worry, with this many people, we'll definitely get hundreds of thousands." Stella's eyes lit up, and she gritted her teeth, starting to recount her ex-husband's abuse. The 3 children also nodded, confirming her story. The crowd behind grew even more excited because I had promised to share a portion of the money if we got it, as a thank you. My mother-in-law glanced at me but didn't object. Now we needed people. Not long after, Kevin's people arrived. Both sides argued fiercely, but no one had yet laid a hand on anyone. Kevin took out his phone and played a video of him catching Stella in the hotel. Stella shrieked, "Kevin, how dare you use AI to fake faces? That's not me. You want to ruin my reputation? I'll kill you." Stella grabbed a stick and lunged at Kevin. I stuck out my leg to trip her, and with a slight push, Stella tumbled right into him, the stick hitting his head. Both fell to the ground. Kevin clutched his head, screaming in pain while Stella's nose bled profusely. I shoved my husband. "Are you even a man? Go save your sister." Alex rushed forward, bumping into several people, his stick hitting 2 others. The scene was utterly chaotic. Kevin yelled loudly, "Beat them to death for me, just don't actually kill them." Soon, a group of people charged into a brawl. I quietly retreated to the back. As I was about to escape, my mother-in-law spotted me. "Anya, get back here. If you dare to run, I'll beat you to death." Oh, I was so scared. I calmly ran out to see what she could do to me. As long as I stood far enough away to be safe, I wasn't afraid of anything. My mother-in-law's shouts attracted attention. Two large men advanced towards me. My mother-in-law was visibly happy, fiercely fighting another woman. I took out my pepper spray. While the two men weren't paying attention, I sprayed them continuously, then turned and ran without a second's hesitation. Once out of the yard, I immediately called the police. What era is this? How dare they gather to fight? Get them all to the station in one go? Before leaving, I even recorded a video, just in case they denied it. I'd have evidence. I got in the car and drove towards my parents' house. Not seeing Yuan Yuan made my heart flutter uneasily. After driving for just over 10 minutes, Alex called. "Anya, did you call the police?" "Oh, officer, you work fast." My lips curved upwards, my mood exceptionally cheerful. "Yes, fighting is wrong. Isn't it perfectly normal for me to call the police?" Alex was so angry he was panting. "Who told you to call the police? You broke the rules, don't you know? Where are you?" "Come back right now." "Rules? The Wang family's rules?" I replied casually. "I have important things to do. I'm not coming back. You all should meekly admit your wrongdoings and apologize because fighting is wrong." Alex started yelling into the phone. I chuckled. "Serves you right." Then I hung up. Half an hour later, I reunited with Yuan Yuan. She blinked her big round eyes at me. "Mommy, I missed you so much." She was so tiny, she threw herself into my arms, making me feel utterly content. "My sweet Yuan Yuan, Mommy missed you too so much." I kissed her face repeatedly. It felt like I had just recovered a precious treasure. I just wanted to hold her forever. "Is Mommy crazy?" Yuan Yuan's face turned red from all the kisses. My mother, standing nearby, scolded loudly. I smiled brightly, feeling wonderful. "It's so good." My Yuan Yuan was safe and sound. After dinner, my mother glanced at me. Nyan, come upstairs with me. Leave Yuan Yuan with Dad." My mother knew me too well. She must have noticed something unusual long ago. During dinner, she had looked at me many times. In my previous life, after Yuan Yuan died, I didn't dare to see my parents, afraid they would find out and prevent me from seeking revenge. I was their only child, living with them for over 20 years. They understood me better than I understood myself. Alex was my university classmate, my first love. My parents had opposed it, but I insisted on marrying him. First love often comes with rose-tinted glasses. Back then, I thought Alex was humorous, intelligent, and treated his family and friends well, thinking he would make a good husband. The result? He was only good to his own family. Yuan Yuan and I were outsiders. Indeed, our elders were right. Ignore their advice and you'll suffer right before your eyes. I followed my mother into the study, and she handed me a glass of honey water. Nyan, did you argue with Alex?" I looked up at my mother's once raven black hair, now flecked with silver. My mother had grown old, and I was still making her worry. I held her hand, hesitating for a moment before speaking. "Mom, I just had a dream." I recounted everything from my previous life. At first, my mother looked at me as if I were insane. Then, if I hadn't held her back, she probably would have rushed off to confront the Wang family. My mother understood me deeply. From my words, she had realized something. She hugged me tightly. Nyan, I won't let that happen. If you want a divorce, your father and I won't stop you." My eyes welled up, and I had to force my head up to prevent the tears from falling. After a long while, we both calmed down. When we went out, we saw Yuan Yuan lying on the floor drawing. My father was helping her. Seeing me, he handed me a drawing of our family of 3. My mother pulled my father into the study. I knew they needed to talk privately. I sighed, hugging Yuan Yuan tightly. Just for what Alex did in the previous life, I would never let Yuan Yuan acknowledge him again. "Yuan Yuan, do you remember Lucky?" Lucky was a poodle I used to have. Yuan Yuan loved him very much. My mother-in-law secretly fed him chicken bones, which tore his intestines. He died that night. I made a huge fuss. My mother-in-law cried and apologized, saying the bones fell on the ground and he picked them up to eat. She didn't do it on purpose. Later, I found out she did it intentionally. She thought the monthly cost of feeding a dog was too wasteful. I smashed her cosmetics, tore her mink coat, and even took her large gold bracelet. From then on, she behaved better, not daring to cause trouble. I didn't expect that with Stella's return, she would become bold again. Yuan Yuan blinked her sparkling eyes. "Mommy, he went to heaven. I miss him so much." I stroked her head. "Your dad went to heaven too. Lucky was lonely, so he took your dad with him." Yuan Yuan looked at me sadly. "Mommy, I'm 6 years old, not a 3-year-old anymore." Sure enough, children after 3 are hard to fool. I wiped away non-existent cold sweat. Be good, Mommy hasn't thought of another reason yet. I'm so worried. Yuan Yuan grinned at me. Mommy, do you really want a divorce? They act like this on TV dramas too. My mother-in-law loved watching those melodramatic dog blood dramas. My daughter used to watch with her. I hadn't paid much attention unexpectedly. My child understood so much. I looked at her seriously. Yuan Yuan, if Mommy and Daddy divorce, do you want to stay with Mommy? Even if she didn't want to, I would have to keep her with me. Yuan Yuan nodded, her expression matter of fact. Mommy, you don't know, you're the one I love most. Grandma is a bad person. She called me useless. I know useless is bad. My eyes turned red. What right did she have to call my child names? Wasn't she a woman herself? She was useless too. I truly couldn't understand why a woman could discriminate against a girl so much. I hugged my daughter tightly. Yuan Yuan, you are the treasure in Mommy's heart. You are not useless. The little girl nodded obediently, burying herself in my embrace. Mommy, I understand everything. I can feel who treats me well. I felt even more heartache. For years, I had buried myself in work, only wanting to give my child a full life, the best school, the prettiest clothes, the healthiest food, but gradually neglected to pay attention to her. I once thought that even a tiger wouldn't eat its cub, and Yuan Yuan was, after all, a member of the Wang family. I didn't expect them to be so cruel. I continued drawing with my daughter. It turned out she hadn't finished yet. It was a drawing of a family of 4, my parents, me, and Yuan Yuan. That night, I blacklisted everyone from the Wang family and had a good night's sleep, hugging Yuan Yuan. The next morning, my mother-in-law came to the house. I kept Yuan Yuan in her room, telling her not to come out. My mother-in-law's face was covered in scratches, probably from yesterday's fight. She glared at me. Anya, are you insane? You must give me an explanation today or don't blame me. I glared back openly. What is this thing? Why haven't the police arrested her? Before I could curse, my mother appeared. Shameless Stella, your mother is even more shameless. You want to talk things through. Divorce immediately. We're cutting ties with your impudent family. My mother-in-law's face darkened, her eyes filled with malice towards me. If she had the chance, she would definitely kill me. But unfortunately, I wouldn't give her that chance. If anyone died, it would be her first. A wicked woman like you, our Wang family doesn't need. You caused my son to be jailed, my daughter to be hospitalized, and now we have to pay a ton of money. You are truly a jinx, you won't live in peace. Hearing their fate, I couldn't help but curl my lips into a smile. It was a bit of a pity that Stella hadn't been hit by karma yet. I smiled brightly. Heaven truly is fair. This is all well-deserved retribution. My mother-in-law's eyes turned red with anger, and she raised her hand to hit me. My father raised his hand to block her, and my mother immediately slapped her. If you have no shame, don't blame me for being impolite. The daughter of the Chen family is not for you to bully. My mother-in-law panicked, shouting, You people dare to hit me? I'll call the police, I'll sue you, I'll make you pay 1 million. I coldly watched the woman in front of me slowly go mad. Where's the evidence? Where are the witnesses? You want 1 million? I could sue you for fraud. My mother-in-law froze, seemingly remembering why she was there. She forced out a fake smile. Nyan, Auntie knows you're kind-hearted. I was just too emotional earlier. Now the Wang family needs your help. Could you lend us 500,000 yuan? You're so good, I'm sure you wouldn't refuse, right? She must think I'm a fool. 500,000 yuan for them? They weren't worthy. My mother slapped her again. Are you still asleep? You open your mouth and demand 500,000 yuan. It's like you're dreaming in broad daylight. My mother-in-law was trying to keep her composure but immediately lost it, raising her hand to fight my mother. Could I stand it? No. I had wanted to hit her for a long time. To me, my mother-in-law was just an enemy, one of the people who killed Yuan Yuan. I stood between the two, pretending to mediate, but subtly kicked her, pushed her, and punched her. Soon, my mother-in-law was sobbing. I hadn't expected her fighting power to be so weak. Honestly, I hadn't even had my fill. She sat on the ground, snot and tears streaming down her face. Anya is the daughter-in-law of the Wang family. What's wrong with asking her for a little money? Half the money she earns belongs to my son. My mother was so angry she laughed, rolling up her sleeves, ready to continue. She panicked and retreated. Did I say something wrong? We're family. Isn't your money our money? If you give us the money, I'll put in a few good words for you so they forgive you. You can continue to be a daughter-in-law of the Wang family. She spoke smugly, as if being a daughter-in-law of the Wang family was some glorious title. I smiled faintly. In that case, I won't be a daughter-in-law of the Wang family anymore. You've been one for over 30 years. 500,000 yuan should rightfully come from you. My mother-in-law couldn't believe my words. In the past, I genuinely loved Alex and treated his relatives well, but now, anyone could see I no longer wanted to live with him. Anya, do you really want to divorce my son? We never blamed you for not having a son. What right do you have to demand a divorce? My mother-in-law became more agitated as she spoke. I don't agree, unless he leaves empty-handed and has to compensate us an additional 500,000 yuan, and that useless daughter has to go with you. What beautiful reign, huh? Otherwise, just find an excuse to replace a wife, right? As soon as my mother-in-law finished speaking, my mother rushed over to hit her again, while I continued to mediate, selectively, kicking her a few times for good measure. After not much fighting, my mother-in-law spewed out all sorts of vicious words and ran away. My parents turned to look at me. Nyan, what's your next step? Of course, moving house, and conveniently giving the room back to Stella. I was determined not to let Yuan Yuan interact with those 3 children. My mother called a few relatives to help. I hugged Yuan Yuan as we moved. Initially, I planned to leave her at my cousin's house, but she refused. She wanted to pack her toys herself. Later, I found out she had secretly hidden her savings and felt at ease only if she brought them along. I led a group of people to move things, everyone carrying sticks, just in case we encountered unreasonable people. Opening the door, my father-in-law was sitting in the living room with the 3 children, stunned to see me. Anya, what are you doing? I didn't even bother to glance at him. We were about to divorce, why bother saving his face? I informed my close friends and relatives that I was moving. My father followed behind, directing. When I got married, my family bought all the appliances. Now I was taking them all, not leaving a single item, even if I had to discard them rather than let them use them. My father-in-law's face turned beet red. Anya, are you crazy? Don't your parents control you? What are you all doing? These things all belong to the Wang family, you can't take them. The 3 children also angrily shouted, Get out of here. I smiled brightly. Don't get too agitated, old man. You're old. If you have a stroke or high blood pressure, I won't take you to the hospital. My father-in-law glared at me. If I hadn't brought so many people, he probably would have lunged at me. My father gestured with his eyes, and I obediently led my mother into the room to pack things. Not long after, my mother-in-law returned. She blocked me. Nyan, how can you just leave like that? Divorce isn't something you can decide on your own. Just hearing them call me Nyan made me sick. They weren't worthy of saying my name. I brushed her hand away. Didn't you introduce several matches to Alex? If I don't leave, how can anyone else enter the house? Do you still want a grandson? In my previous life, after Yuan Yuan died, I hired 3 private detective agencies and uncovered a pile of scandals. I brought the evidence to a lawyer, but he said it was useless. Because the 3 children were too young, all Alex had to do was write a letter of forgiveness. With no way out, I sent their entire family to meet their ancestors. My mother-in-law was silent, then mumbled after a long time, It's just making a few more friends. You refused to have more children, now you blame us. Before I could scold her, my mother couldn't stand it and pulled her away, hitting her again without hesitation. My mother-in-law screamed, Help, murder, save me. My mother slapped her face repeatedly. How dare you bully my daughter? I'll beat you to death, you old hag. This whole family is shameless, going crazy for a grandson. Divorce. We must divorce immediately. My mother-in-law frantically ran towards my father-in-law. They watched us pack our belongings helplessly. The 3 children even tried to snatch Yuan Yuan's toys. I slapped one of them immediately, and the child burst into tears. I looked at them coldly. I had wanted to hit them for a long time. My mother-in-law, seeing the unsettling look in my eyes, muttered curses about useless things and pulled the 3 children away to comfort them. What a pity, only one slap. Yuan Yuan clutched her Barbie doll, her face full of joy. In the previous life, it was over this very toy that they pushed Yuan Yuan down the stairs and then didn't take her to the hospital, letting her die in agony. I hugged Yuan Yuan and directed the moving. It's okay, there's a long road ahead, and right now the most important thing is to get Yuan Yuan out of this place. After moving, we invited everyone who helped for a meal, then went home. Fearing the Wang family would come looking for trouble, to protect Yuan Yuan, we moved to another house my parents had bought 2 years ago, intending to leave it to Yuan Yuan. We didn't tell Alex. The house had just been completed and no one had lived there yet. Now was the most suitable time. Upon arriving, I immediately sought someone to investigate. This time, I had Kevin's entire private life dug up so they could tear each other apart. Alex was released on bail, apparently at a considerable cost. He changed his phone number and called me. He was panicking. For the past 2 years, not wanting to make things difficult for Yuan Yuan, I covered all living expenses, sending over 15,000 yuan each month. Now that I had taken Yuan Yuan and left, and Stella had brought her 3 sons back to their house, they had lost their golden goose and were frantic. Alex earned 7,000 to 8,000 yuan a month, and the others had no income. They simply couldn't support themselves. I gave him an earful, then blocked his number. Alex didn't want a divorce at all. He was upset about losing my income. I thought it through. It was best to let him replace his wife. I gave him a chance, and he didn't appreciate it. I took extended leave from work. For years, I hadn't dared to take a break, only wanting to earn more money to give Yuan Yuan a fulfilling life. But in reality, what Yuan Yuan needed most was her mother's companionship. I transferred her to a new kindergarten. Every day, I picked up and dropped off Yuan Yuan at school. She was very happy and never once asked me about her father. Once, she dug out over 3,000 yuan from her Barbie doll and bought me a gold ring. She said, "Mommy, when I earn money, I'll buy you a villa, a sports car, and a big gold bracelet." I hugged her tightly, almost crying. A few days later, a colleague sent me a photo of Alex at my workplace. He couldn't find where I lived, so he came to my office to cause trouble. I didn't even need to guess what he was thinking. He was probably afraid of being beaten if he came to my house, thinking I would concede at work for the sake of appearances. But I wasn't even at the company. He wanted to pretend to be pathetic, but no one let him in, so he had to slink away. I carefully reviewed the documents sent by the detective, selecting a few videos of Kevin dating other girls and sending them to Stella. There were also 2 A4 pages detailing his bank transfer history, along with photos of his 2 illegitimate children. I also sent Kevin some videos of Stella dating handsome men, along with the DNA test results showing that none of the 3 children were his biological offspring. I must say my sister-in-law played quite boldly, and her taste was good all handsome men. These 2 truly were a match made in hell, divorcing and still wanting to harm others. They deserved to die sooner or later. I sent everything anonymously. If they managed to endure it, I would help Stella report these incidents to Kevin's company. I was determined to make them clash. Fortunately, they didn't disappoint me. As soon as Stella was discharged from the hospital, she brought people to Kevin's company, making a big scene. The blurred videos were printed as flyers and distributed to his colleagues, and she even sought out his superiors. The commotion led to Kevin's suspension from work and his story being posted online. Netizens were shocked, mostly cursing Kevin, but some clear-headed ones waited for a plot twist. I was very satisfied and even paid for more views for those videos. Kevin, of course, couldn't endure it. He posted 3 DNA test reports online, along with evidence of my sister-in-law going to motels with many men. In the video, he said with red eyes, "For all these years, I haven't mistreated her or the children, yet she treats me like this. None of the 3 children are mine. How do you expect me to live? Now that we're divorced, she's still causing trouble and making me lose my job. What do you all think I should do?" Public opinion immediately reversed. Now it was Stella who was being cursed. I heard that their entire family didn't dare to step out of the house. Even Alex lost his job. Currently, the whole family didn't have a single source of income. When I moved, I took everything. The refrigerator, washing machine, TV, sofa, microwave, oven, even the pots and pans I bought myself were all taken. I wonder if they've bought anything new yet. If not, they'll have to hand wash clothes every day. Just thinking about it made me happy. Before I could enjoy it for long, on my way to pick up Yuan Yuan from school, I noticed Alex following me. I didn't know how he found my new address. I hadn't told anyone. I immediately messaged my parents, explaining the situation, and told them to pick up Yuan Yuan. I pretended not to notice anyone following me, leading him around the market, circling a few times before heading back home. Half an hour later, Alex knocked on the door. He still managed to find it. I didn't stand on ceremony. I grabbed the pepper spray and waited. As soon as I opened the door, he tried to say something, but I sprayed him directly in the face. Alex clutched his eyes, screaming horribly. I grabbed the stick nearby and beat him with all my might. "Where's Yuan Yuan? I came to see my daughter." "Anya, how dare you hit me? Don't I have the right to see my daughter?" Hearing him mention Yuan Yuan, my anger flared even more, and I hit him harder. This man deserved to be beat. After not much beating, my parents brought Yuan Yuan out. I looked up at them. "Quickly take Yuan Yuan inside, just let me handle this. I also have a stun baton, I'm not afraid." My parents stood still. Yuan Yuan slowly walked closer to me. I stopped my hands. Alex was rubbing his eyes, his voice pitiful. Yuan Yuan, can you come home with Daddy? Everyone misses you very much. How could asterisk they miss her? They only wanted to lure her back to control me. I hugged Yuan Yuan tightly, stepping back a few paces. I would never let him touch Yuan Yuan again in this lifetime. The little girl gently patted my back. Mommy, don't worry, I won't go with him. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Recently, being together every day, I realized Yuan Yuan was more mature and understanding than children her age, like a miniature adult. But that didn't make me happy. Instead, I felt a deep ache. Alex tried to force a kind smile. My sweet Yuan Yuan, come home with Daddy and Mommy will come too. We'll still be a happy family. The little girl shook her head, her face serious. Daddy once said I was useless, not the son he wanted. Daddy doesn't like me and I don't like Daddy either. So, behind my back, Alex treated her like that. When I gave birth to Yuan Yuan, I made it clear I wouldn't have any more children. He agreed, even saying a daughter was a warm little cotton jacket for parents. What was the result? His entire family wanted a son. Only because I earned money did they temporarily hold back. They could have just said it directly, and I would have taken my daughter and left. But they couldn't bear to lose the living expenses I provided, so they secretly cursed Yuan Yuan behind my back. Thinking of this, I grew even angrier, grabbing the stick and continuing to beat him. Alex, you useless man. Does your family have a throne to inherit? You have no money, yet you still want a son? Are you all insane? Alex cried and begged for mercy, pleading with us to come back. But it was too late, that would never happen. My parents stood beside me, scolding him directly. Finally, he was beaten black and blue before he agreed to leave. Before he left, he muttered, Anya, you will regret this. Truly, I only regretted not sending him to meet his ancestors sooner. I knew what he would do, because I had already dug a huge pit for him to fall into. Not long after, Alex sold their house to invest, even pouring his parents' retirement money into it. Seeing it still wasn't enough, he started borrowing money everywhere from relatives and friends. But the economy was currently difficult. Everyone held tight to their funds, no one would lend. Finally, he sold Stella's 3 sons to Myanmar. At this point, their family couldn't afford to raise the children, so he thought this would reduce their burden. Stella went insane. When she learned her own brother sold her children, she went berserk, grabbing a knife to stab him to death, but her parents stopped her. The entire family had pinned their hopes on that investment. Alex knelt down and swore that as long as he had money, he would redeem the 3 children. Unfortunately, the investment failed, the investor ran off, and the entire Wang family went mad. I hired someone abroad to send Stella a few videos showing her 3 children with broken arms and legs, forced to beg on the streets, and brutally tortured if they didn't get money. Stella hated them to the core. She bought poison and put it in their food, killing the entire family. The police came to question me extensively, even suspecting that their deaths were related to me. I obediently replied, I just go to work and take care of my daughter. Where would I find the time to meddle in their dirty business? Didn't they all bring this karma upon themselves? I washed my hands clean and even took their bodies for cremation, scattering their ashes into the foul-smelling canal behind their house in the countryside, like fallen leaves returning to their roots. I truly am a good person. Looking at my household register, the marriage section clearly stated, widowed. I finally felt at peace. I took my parents and Yuan Yuan traveling everywhere. When I worked, I gave my all, dedicating all my earnings to my loved ones. Seeing Yuan Yuan become more lively and radiant day by day, my heart was filled with contentment. Ah,